So where did all this sort of ornamentation and so on come from? Obviously, if you think of the the illustrated manuscripts and so on, the monks were always doing very decorative work. But in the sort of 1800s, where the people were not particularly artists and discoverers, were going off on these grand tours looking at art from different areas, and this is sort of one of the first books of, obviously a reproduction of Arabian art, which is all based on geometry. But this was the sort of the start of the interest in Orientalism, and which actually grew into paintings and decorative artwork as well. Then in the sort of 1850s, Owen Jones produced this book, which looked at, rather than just Arabic designs, he put together this dictionary of patterns and decorative work from all over the world. So we've got Chinese, Indian, Roman, Moors, Spanish, so from all over, and this was sort of the starting point for a lot of the decorative work that William Morris and the arts and crafts movement brought together. So that is the Grammar of Ornament, which is a very important book for the pre-Raphaelites when they were looking at that, and not copying but taking inspiration from their work. So very detailed, as I say, and very complicated. So I sort of have a new admiration for the people that do that sort of thing. And if you think back, if you want to reproduce stuff at the moment, you put it on the computer, you can change the colours, you can print it out, don't like that. This is all done by, rulers and pencils and compasses, and it's amazing really the skill that they had. But that gets very, very complicated. So to start off, what I wanted to look at was something that I know Jane does quite a bit of, which is the zentangle, which she did on her lino print cards. So this, I think it really grew in popularity during COVID because people were stuck at home, they didn't know what to do. They started sort of doodling, and you had all these colouring books come out, sort of Zen, obviously the art of Zen and peace and meditation, and this sort of can take you into a bit of a zone as well, because you start working on patterns and so on. So what do I want you to do? First of all, looking at the first sheet with these squares on them, have a go at just copying or trying out your own ideas. And I think it's easier if you draw yourself some squares, or they don't have to be particularly accurate squares, or use a ruler or a guide of some sort, and able to get your squares square and begin to put patterns into those. So you can divide up the shapes any old how and put some patterns in, but don't do it, just do your outline in pencil and then go in with your pen straight away, and do really whatever you fancy. But if you're a bit stuck and struggling, you can look at reproducing some of these patterns on here, and sometimes they look a bit more complex than they are. I mean, this again is just based on squares. A lot of these are just based on squares, but then decorated within that square. So I want you to start off with those and create sort of a sheet of patterns. You can see on the second sheet these have been combined into more detailed and more elaborate ideas of zentangle and patterns, and a little bit of shading put in to make them look more 3D. So that's what we're going to start off with, and then a little bit later on we'll look at some of the Celtic knots, and we'll go through step by step on what sheet where we can reproduce some of those. So does that sound okay? Yeah? Excellent. Good.